goes up on the gantry. So the revs starting to rise, the red lights go on, and they go out. Away we go then. It's a good start by Gadd from the second row of the grid there, and immediately he levels with Lewis Wall as they head down towards the first corner at Riches, and he might even have got into the lead. Yes, he has. Number 12, Tom Gadd, then has the lead as they turn into Riches corner for the first time. Wall in second, David Mason third, and Murray Shepherd there in fourth position as they round the right-hander and head now up towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time. But that couldn't have gone better for Tom Gadd, could it, Marcus?
No, but he really hooked up well on that outside line. But he's gone off. He's gone straight off at the hairpin. And now he's got everything to do.
Well, just as we were saying, it couldn't have gone any better, it then couldn't have gone any worse, and it was hard to see from that shot, wasn't it, whether he was heading towards the grass. I kind of sensed that he was, and sure enough, that's where he appeared. So it is now Wall then, his championship rival, that takes the lead of the race. David Mason second. Now, where has Gadd come back on? Not inside the top 8. He's about, I don't know, 12th or 13th. I would guess him at the moment they come through Palmer for the first time and on to Agostini. So could that be the decisive moment in the championship?
I suspect there'll be many more slidings off in this race for different competitors at different parts of the track. It is very, very skitey out there. Dreich, as they say in Scotland.
Yeah, they do indeed. So the top two here have got a bit of a gap over Murray Shepherd then, who's in third place as they make their way through Hamilton, which is a very tricky left-hander, and then on to this quite slow, especially in these conditions, right-hander at Oggies. This is all part of this sinuous infield section here with the Snetterton 300 circuit, which has been there for, I guess, the best part of a decade now, something like that, hasn't it?
They don't have much power, these cars, but they do twitch in these conditions, and if you lose a bit of momentum with them, you lose lots of places. Now the slipstream on the Bentley straight as David Mason tucks in behind Lewis Wall. The Gloucestershire driver coming down in the lead under the Snetterton Bridge into the Brundle and Nelson section, Ian. Yeah,
Mason there on the inside, and it looks like he's got through, possibly. They turn in, yep, David Mason goes through. Now Lewis Wall really needs to finish ahead to maximise his chances of winning the championship, but he probably won't mind too much losing out to Mason there, especially he's able to immediately come back at him on the way towards the bomb hole there. Still Mason ahead though in the number 43 car, ahead of Wall in 44 in second place. Both of these drivers really said to me yesterday they do like these conditions, and it's one of those things, Marcus, you either like these conditions or you don't.
Yes, what you don't do is you don't, when your rivals say, do you like the wet, you don't say, oh yes, I love them. Actually you say, no, I hate them, like everybody else. But there are people who are more adept at driving in the wet, and these guys out front are making a great job of it.
And look at that, Jonathan Lister through to third place. Has got a spinner further back. That was the number well, I was going to say 21 car. We don't have a 21 car. Try and work out who that was. But Jonathan Lister, then, yesterday's race winner, now up into third position as well. He's quite a long way behind the front two, so he'll have his work cut out to narrow this gap. Let's have a look at our timing screens to see what the gap is. Well, it's Mason to Wall 1.39, then another 4.4 seconds back to Jonathan Lister in third place. Fourth is Murray Shepherd, fifth is Peter Hatfield, sixth is Matt Groves, seventh is Tom Gadd, so he is back into those crucial top 8 positions, so he's done some good work in the second part of the lap. Daniel Sibbons 8th, Paul Clark 9th, and Andrew Tate rounding out the top 10. So that's really good news though for Tom Gadd, that he is back up inside the top 10 positions, or top 8 positions.
Yeah, it didn't look very likely, did it? But when he first person to arrive at that very slippery hairpin section, and the car just didn't bite at the front, just understeered off into the grass. Yeah,
so we might actually get slightly less than 30 minutes of racing time because the clock, because we had that extra green flag lap, just started a little bit early, so we'll just wait and see exactly how long. 2 cars off there. One of them is the number 38 car of Russ Atwood, and the other is 72, which is Alex Artis.
And there's 56 off as well. Novice driver with the cross on the back.
That's Daniel Sibbons, who was 5th yesterday, so not such a good return today for Daniel Sibbons, I'm afraid to say. Meanwhile, looking back at the leaders as they turn their way through Hamilton once again, it's the gap seems to have narrowed between Mason and Wall once again, and Lister is going after them.
He is, and I sense that he is getting closer. You can see where the car we had was off the 58 car, Sibbons. That was after Palmer, wasn't it?
Just on the exit of Palmer. So, and a moment there for Murray Shepherd there as he goes through Og is. And Tom Gadd has made up another place or two by the looks of it. He's in behind Peter Hatfield now, so he's up into 6th position. So he's making steady progress up the order, but he can't afford another mistake like that. There's the 15 car of Matt Groh, who took 4th place in yesterday's race, which I think was probably his best result of the season. As the cars head down the Bentley Straight once again. I don't think we've got anyone on this grid apart from Lister, who won yesterday, who's won a race around Snetterton before, which is worthy of note. That's what Shepherd and Hatfield there.
Yeah, they're having a good little tussle. They're probably about 50 metres behind Lister, and Lister does appear to be, as you say, to be closing on the lead pair, 43 Mason and 44 Wall.
That's Jack Chapman, who went really well at Brands Hatch, just with the number 72 car of Artis as he recovers. There is Hatfield having a look there as they go towards Coram, or through the bomb hole towards Coram, and I think he has made it through there. Yes, he has. So. Or has he? No, it's still the same order between Shepherd and Hatfield as they go through. They've got Gadd closing on. There's a slippery surface flag you could see there in the background as well.
As if it were needed.
Yes, if it wasn't slippery enough already, then they're now being warned. Possibly there's some fluid gone down, some oil gone down, which in these conditions could make life very interesting. Leaders are ending lap 2, and they're nearly side by side as they head down towards Rich's corner this time. And it's Wall on the inside, and he goes through ahead of David Mason on the inside to take the lead, but Mason immediately... Oh, he's gone wide, he's off onto the grass, and that's obviously very wet and slippery, so Wall now, his championship chances, really going for a bit of a burden there, but because he's got such a big advantage, he might not lose too much. We'll see exactly where he comes back on. He may still, I guess, be in 3rd place. I think Lister will have got through.
Lister would have got through because Lister was only at 1.1 seconds behind the lead pair. And another one off, that's Hatfield, isn't it?
Yeah, Hatfield's gone off, so he'll relinquish 5th place to Gadd because of that, doing what Gadd did on the first lap. So there now is Mason, the leader, with Lister right behind him. So Lister looking for his 2nd win. I did suggest that it might be like London buses with... another win on the cars today. Well, it's not the raciest of suggestions now as they head up to the hairpin at Agostini. It's Mason, 43, continuing to lead from the 71 car of Jonathan Lister in the SRB prepared car in 2nd place. And there is the Club 100 stick, as you can see on the back of Lister's car. And there's our 3rd place driver, which is Wall. So he did get on in 3rd place at least.
Yeah, he's recovered to 3rd. There's Murray Shepherd in 4th place as well in the white and green built car. But 71 is Lister, and it's just to play it cool now. You don't win the race until the checkered flag goes out, but a little bit twitchy there. Mason trying to stretch a few cars' lengths over Jonathan Lister, but Lister does look very composed at this point.
He does, doesn't he? So 3.5 minutes left to go, so it looks like there's every chance that Lister could bring this one home. Down the straight they come, the Bentley Straight, under the vehicle bridge. It's Mason ahead, Lister in his slipstream for the moment. Quite a gap back to Wall in 3rd, Shepherd in 4th, and then just in the background you can see the green and black car of Tom Gadd. So if it stays this way, Gadd will wrap up the championship as Mason goes right to the edge of the circuit there. Lister even further towards the edge, in actual fact, almost using a bit of curb on the exit as well. And he'll be trying to use those karting lines, won't he, I should imagine?
That's right, and you'll see that his input into the steering is really minimal. It's all about trying to keep the car as straight as possible, because you get a little bit sideways, you have to back out of the throttle. At that point, all the momentum is gone, and these little 1300 Ford engines, you need momentum. Yeah,
absolutely critical, isn't it? As they head up towards Murray's, then this to complete only lap 3 of the race. It seems like we've had a lot more of it, doesn't it? But it is still number 43, Mason leading from number 71. That is Lister in 2nd place then. And they come to the line of this big gap, and Lister having a look up the inside of Mason this time. They're alongside one another as they head past our commentary box and in towards Rich's. On the inside is the number 71 car of Lister, who's got his car almost fully alongside. And I think he's got that move done. Mason, his car becomes a little bit twitchy and unsettled as he goes through, but he's managed to keep it on the tarmac, which is more than a few drivers have done already during the course of this race. So he hangs on at least to 2nd place. He lives to try and fight back here as they head up towards the Wilson hairpin now, named for the late Justin Wilson. turning their way out of that now and then down towards the left-hander at Palmer. These two are 6.5 seconds clear of Wall in third place, and Gadd is about another 6 seconds behind Wall in fifth. But as I say, this result is good enough for Gadd in the championship.
Yeah, down the order also we've had Craig Land come from the back out into 12th place, so he's making good progress as he did yesterday. But it's Lister now who leads, the man who did so much Club 100 karting on slicks in the wet. It's a great training ground.
Yes, it really is. Turning his way around Agostini. There's a lot of work going on there.
Yeah, it's fingertip control, isn't it? So when
yeah.
you get a little bit out of line, you mustn't overreact.
Yes, that's when you'll likely put the car into a slide and, as you say, lose momentum, which is critical. Quite a lot of curb being taken, which is surprising there from Mason. You think you want to keep off those slippery curbs in these conditions. Only half a minute to go, so we'll get the last lap board this time around. Turning their way out of Oggies and up towards the right-hander at Williams that brings them onto the back straight.
This is the opportunity for the slipstream where you can tuck into the toe of the car ahead. You'll gain momentum, you'll gain revs, and the problem now is it's because it's wet off the line they're on, or wetter. If you get off the line, you may find it tricky to regain the race line without a major steering input. Down they come into Brundle, but it's Lister hanging on the inside. The quicker line is the outside, and coming round it was Mason. But is Lister going to hold on? Now it's getting the car turned in. That's the important thing. Lister's out over the rumble strip, but he's kept his head, and his pursuer Mason just got a little bit twitchy coming out, and that's lost him some momentum.
Yeah, and as you can see, straight away he's lost several car lengths. It looks like the leader, Lister, was sliding the car around there. Reminded that he's come through from 5th position. Meanwhile, I can see a black and white driving standards flag has been shown to number 79, David Johns, who is outside the top 20 at the moment, so we don't need to worry too much about that. In terms of this race, we've run out of time, so I think we should be getting the last lap this time around. Whether they get the board or not remains to be seen. Yeah, there's in fact a penalty board going out, or a flag going out to that 79 car, so we have run out of the timed element of this race. This time they come up to the line. Yeah, Mason's well behind, isn't he? In second place now. He is 2.5 seconds adrift of Jonathan Lister now, so as they go on to the final lap, it looks like Lister might well make it 2 wins out of 2 this weekend. Still, it's Maurice Shepherd third, Wall in... well, it's not, so that's a change. Maurice Shepherd up to third now, Wall down to fourth, and Tom Gadd still in 5th position. He's got Andrew Tate, number 42, and Pete Hatfield, number 6, right behind him. Good drive this from Tate, not had too many top 6s, but Gadd can't afford to lose too many positions. That's the one thing he's got to be wary of. Having said that, though, Wall, of course, is down in 4th rather than getting the maximum points that he could this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You rather sense that David Mason has thought, now I'm so far ahead of anybody else, I can see nobody in my mirrors, that maybe I'll leave this one.
That's Craig Land in the 87 car that we're talking about. He's just got ahead of number 8, Sean Brayman, up into 11th position therefore, so that's good for him. Meanwhile, you've got Matt Groh and Paul Clark there, disputing 8th and 9th place, just as they came off the Wilson hairpin, heading down towards Palmer. The leader is already, I think, at Agostini. Yes, he is, with David Mason pursuing him. It's still Lister that's leading, but this battle for 8th and 9th at the moment, with Paul Clark now ahead of Matt Groh. Here's a good one. There's Peter Hatfield just up ahead of them. In the background, you can see the number 69, Greg Smith, who's had just the one win in Locost. That came at Castle Combe at the beginning of last year, and proved sadly to be a bit of a flash in a pan, but he's not really troubled the very front end of the order again. Paul Clark going a little bit too deep there,
troubling the grass, actually.
Yeah.
He went mowing on the greensward.
He did. So that's Clark. He's held on to 8th place though, as the leaders are just making their way back onto the Bentley straight. Oh, he's touching it again. He likes the grass.
Yeah.
Just Paul Clark. That's the second time he's been on there in the space of 2 corners. Hamilton is a corner that does often catch people out. Has to be said, that left-hander. Oh, and that's Mason, our second place man, pulling off on the Bentley straight. So he was contending for victory, originally not that closely on this final lap, but Mason out of it. And so that brings Murray Shepherd, number 2, up into 2nd place, and Louis Wall up into 3rd. Mason is still going, but he's at reduced pace and is clinging to the left-hand side. Maybe he's back up to speed now. I think he is back up to speed.
He's behind Wall, isn't he? So Wall in the 44 car with the Dayglow top, and there is Mason. He's lost a...
But just going to say, Tom Gadd, I don't think was there in behind him, and he really ought to have been the next car through. He's not there. So what has happened to Tom Gadd? Is he still out there in that number 12 car, or have we lost him somewhere on this final lap? There is our race leader, Jonathan Lister, coming through Coram for the 5th and final time in this race. So it is going to be 2 wins out of 2 this weekend for Jonathan Lister. A couple of back markers ahead, but the checkered flag is made ready, and Lister is going to come through, and I'm sure he'll be almost as happy with this one as he was with yesterday's race. Apart from the fact that the checkered flag hasn't gone out, I think possibly it should have done, but they have. Yes, it does go out now. So I think they have just missed Jonathan Lister, probably confused by the fact that he didn't have a green car right behind him. So it's going to be Murray Shepherd second, third is going to be Lewis Wall, fourth is going to be David Mason, fifth will be the car of Andrew Tate. But where is Tom Gadd? Here comes Tom Gadd. He comes home in 6th position. He's got his hand in the air. He knows that that is enough for Tom Gadd to win the 2019 Demon Tweeks Yokohama Locost Championship title. Gave us a bit of a scare with a long lap there on the final lap. 11 seconds off his best. 7th place went to number 6. That was Peter Hatfield. 8th place went to number 82. That was Paul Clark. 9th was number 15. Matt Groh. Greg Smith has come across the line in 10th place. Craig Land, that great drive, 2 good drives from him from the back, up to 11th place today, 12th yesterday. Interesting though, his best lap time, sort of 10 seconds off Lister's best, which puts things rather into perspective. Sean Brome 12th, and we've got the rest of them still coming across the line now. Jeff Peake up to 13th on the final lap.
Lister's best lap, a 2:59.26, which is really spectacular in comparison to those around him.
Yeah, the next best was a 3:02.53, I think, from Wall, wasn't it? So
could be the next Jackie Eakes.
Yeah, 3 seconds a lap better than the rest is quite something, isn't it? Not quite as quick as he went yesterday, but I do think there might be some fluid down, because we have got the slippery surface flagged out at a couple of corners I've seen.
Very difficult to quantify slippery conditions, isn't it? But he mastered them, and a cracking lap time at the end, and 2 wins for Jonathan Lister. Yeah,
very well done, Tim. We'll be very pleased with that. We'll hear from him in a moment. Meanwhile, Jonathan Higgins has come home in 14th. Rob Apsey, number 73, has taken 15th. Alex Artis 16th. Colin Marshall 17th. Jack Chapman 18th, should say. Glenn Boyd 19th. David Johns has rounded out the top 20. Usually we get sort of 10 cars separated by about 5 seconds or something. The top 10 in today's race separated by 35 seconds, but the difficulty of the conditions really does explain that quite effectively. So Shepherd, well, his 2nd place, that gave him his 8th place, 8th podium finish of the season. If I just process those scores for Tom Gadd and Lewis Wall into my spreadsheet to give you the final gap between them. So Wall was 3rd, he picked up 20 points for that. Put that in the right box, and Gadd was 6th, so that's 14 points for him. So in the final reckoning, Gadd 282 points, and Wall 272. Murray Shepherd, just for completeness, he finished on 245 points after all those drop scores were taken into account. So in the end, a 10-point win for Tom Gadd. Had those 6 victories in the course of the season. It was a clean sweep at Croft. He took all 3 wins there, and he added victories at Anglesey, at Cadwell Park, and at Alton Park as well. So he's won at several different circuits as well as that clean sweep at Croft during the course of this season. So many congratulations to Tom on what has been a fantastic victory in the championship this season. So we will hear from our top 3. We might, if we're lucky, be able to hear from Tom Gadd as well. I'm not sure if we'll be able to grab a word with him too down there on the podium at the end of what has been a fantastic season for the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Low-Cost Championship. Grids well in excess of 30 cars. Once again, a real triumph for the 750 Motor Club. There were a few stronger championships in terms of regular grid numbers in UK club racing, and long may it continue. And I see that there's constant interest from more and more people wanting to get into the Locost Championship as well. So I'm sure that its future is very much assured. So cars heading down into victory lane. Our race winner, Jonathan Lister, is not amongst them actually. So I wonder if he took the checkered flag again, not having seen it the first time. But we do have our second place driver, Murray Shepherd, our third place driver, this will hopefully we will have our race winner, Jonathan Lister, as well in due course. Our champion as well, Tom Gadd, is being signalled in, so we can have a word with him post-championship as well. Leanne Farhi from the 750 Motor Club is down there with the winner's garland, which she'll find someone to present with eventually, and she'll be also shepherding the drivers onto the podium as well, where I can see that Matt Suckling is waiting to talk to them in just a moment. There is Jonathan Lister on your screens now, having an extra lap of honour, having taken his second win of the weekend here. He's just making his way around Quorum now, I think, and he'll be. Oh, maybe he's not quite got that far. He's still heading on to the Bentley Straight, but we'll hear from him hopefully very shortly. So it might be worth possibly seeing if we can hear from Tom Gadd first of all before we do our free podium finish. But I'll leave that with Matt, and I think we'll be ready to go down and hear from them all in just a moment. So I can see it's Lewis Wall that's got to Matt first of all. So Matt, we'll hand down to you.
Thanks, Ian. Yep, we've got Louis Wall down here. Louis, that was a great race, bit damp out there, bit treacherous at times, but you came home in third place. Not quite the championship, I'm afraid to say, but how was the race for you?
No, not quite the championship, but the race was great. It was good fun, very slippy out there. I think there was a bit of oil being leaked somewhere from one of the low-costers, but it was a great race, very tricky through the first corner. I took the scenic route on one lap, which didn't help my overall position, but it was a good, fun, clean race.
And of course, with the championship in mind, we had Tom Gadd off the road as well. What did you think when he went on at the second corner?
I breathed a sigh of relief for a second, but then the conditions worsened and the track got worse. So it wasn't a sort of done deal from there. And then my little off into the first corner didn't help, but it was a tough race, that one.
And of course, at the end of this season, it's been a great year for you. You missed out on the championship by just 10 points, which is quite gutting. But you're going to give it a go again next year?
Oh yeah, we'll be back next year. Yeah, we've had a really strong second half to the season. The car and the engine's been brilliant all year, but the sort of latter half of the season we've really come on.
Great stuff. Well done, Louis. You can go and celebrate now with the runners-up spot in the championship for 2019. Next man we're going to speak to is going to be Murray Shepherd, who works his way onto the podium with us. So we'll get all the drivers up here very shortly, but it's Murray who comes home in second. Murray, congratulations on second. That was a great race for you. Again, as we said with Louis, a little bit treacherous at times, but a great way to end your season.
Yeah, no, really happy. I think after yesterday's performance, I really was struggling for grip. And today, even on the green flag lap, Louis put in a pretty good pace. And I was thinking, oh my God, if this is their green flag lap, what am I going to do? What's going to happen in the race? But just managed to stick sort of on their tail and found some sort of tyre temperature or something. And it just came in and found more and more grip. And thankfully, I had a really good dice with Louis. I was really careful because I know the championship situation is, it really came down to it today. So we gave each other a lot of room and really enjoyed it in the end. And I think I was pretty lucky as well, but yeah, that's just the way it goes.
And of course, with the top two battling, it could have given you a bigger chance to catch up with them. But in the end, David, of course, pulled off, so it put you up into second place. But again, there was lots happening out there, very busy track.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw Dave Mason pull off, and I didn't see what happened. I don't know what happened, but those are the sort of things that I suppose it's a little bit of luck. So I think I'm due a bit of luck. So I'll take it when I can.
Well, and congratulations, Murray. You can take your step now on the second place on the podium. And finally, Jonathan Lister has made his way to us. He did an extra lap there, as you saw on the TV pictures. But Jonathan has finally got back towards us. He's a little bit hot and sweaty in these conditions here at Snetterton. He gets his winner's hat from Leanne, and he'll join us now on the podium, so we can have a quick chat with him about how that race went, and he's quite excited actually, which is brilliant to see. So well done to Jonathan. He gets a nice round of applause. Jonathan, join us down here if you could very quickly. We'll have a quick chat with you first off. An extra lap there, but what a great weekend it's been for you. 2 wins now.
Oh, what an amazing weekend! It's been incredible. I mean, I do love racing in the wet, and it's just been, the car's been fantastic all weekend. So just can't thank SRB boys enough. Sound like Lewis Hamilton now, don't I? No, but yeah, no, it's been brilliant. It's so tricky out there. There's bits of oil out everywhere. It's so hard to go off. I mean, it's so easy to go off. I mean, every corner I'm nearly crashing, you know, trying to keep ahead of these guys. But yeah, no, I'm so pleased.
Hasn't been the best year for you, but as I said, this final round of the year puts you on a high for 2019 and puts you on a good step for 2020.
That's right, yeah. I mean, I'm planning to do the Mazda Locost Championship next year, yeah, no, it's been a tough year. I always knew I could do it, so I'm really pleased.
Great stuff. Well done, Jonathan. Take your top step on the podium. We'll have a very quick word as well with our 2019 champion for the Locost Championship. Well done to this man here. Congratulations, Tom. That was an epic race and a little bit treacherous and off the road at times, but you managed to claw it back to 6th place.
Yeah, when I got the good start, I thought, oh, this is all right. I've got a lot better setup than we did yesterday. And then going into that first hairpin, I braked a lot earlier than I ever have done. And it just locked the fronts off. And I was thinking, oh, there we go again. It's going to be a repeat of the first race. Went off and saw everyone careering past. And I thought that was it. And but the setup was good, so we came back on and we just managed to breach that gap to the cars in front again and get past them all. And
what was the plan after that, just to keep it on the track as best as possible?
Yeah, I was sort of watching Louis see where he was, and when I saw him and Dave Mason had gone, I was thinking, oh, yeah, I've got to just try and hold this position, and then they started to come back a bit, and then so I was gained a bit more confidence throughout the race. But then when Andrew Tate caught up to me, I sort of let him past and just hold on to this position, and it was really slippery out there. Someone dropped oil all the way around the circuit, so it was just a case of trying to hold on to it and try and survive.
Well done to our 2019 champion. Well done to our top 3 in that race as well. Congratulations, great low-cost racing as always. Next on track though is F1000s.